Hello everyone, and welcome back to Free to Pain. Tonight, we are doing something a little different. It is still FGO related. The tag for the stream did not lie. But we are here to do a brief little, educational stream. Still using music from FGO because I like it. We are here to talk about, specifically, the Koyanskya system. The new system that will be possible in probably maybe 2 weeks at most, depending on what news we get about the anniversary this weekend. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let me get started. So, yes, the Koyanskya system. Well, we're going to talk about Arjuna briefly because he is a bit of a different case, but I'll explain that. So, what is the Koyanskya system, or as it'll appear on the slides, KS? The Koyanskya system is a method of 3-turn farming that revolves around a Buster AoE Noble Phantasm, rather than a Quick or Arts AoE Noble Phantasm. Now, how does it differ from other systems, and why is it good, and why does it work with the advent of Koyanskya? Well, to answer that question, I want to briefly dip into the history of the different systems for farming in FGO. It won't be too long. First, we do have to talk about the Scotty system, the first quote-unquote system, really. The Scotty system allows for 3-turn farming by using 2 Scotties, one yours and one a support, to buff a servant with a quick AoE Noble Phantasm and good NP gain, often via skill like Dante, for instance. Now, don't boo Scotty. She walked so the rest of us could run. The reason the Scotty system works and the reason it was named after her is that she has a huge quick buff and a 50% targetable battery. This allows them to supercharge the quick attack of the AoE servant in question. And by doing so, it improves their overkill, and overkill gives MP refund. And that's the important thing for quick farming, too, that you have to get a certain amount of overkill to refund the NP, if you don't want to be doing crazy stuff with the plug suit to get extra charge. And this worked for quite a while. It was kind of the first system. It allowed people to streamline farming quite a bit. But we're not going to delve too much into it, because then along came the Castoria system. Now, Castoria system isn't that different from the Scotty system in kind of the theory of it all. Castoria is basically like the Scotty system, but for arts, and it's just kind of more efficient. Doubling up on the Castorias allows you to, 100% charge a servant on turn 1, just like with Scotty in the quick cards, and she has massive arts buffs, but in addition to just the buff, she also buffs the NP gain, which will mean it's even better kind of refunding, because on top of arts having better NP gain to begin with, you're getting a buff to it through Castoria's skills. But again, the overkill is the important thing. You need a certain amount of overkill to get the MP back up to 100% after that first wave. Now, again, we ask, why is the Koyanskya system different? Why is it good? And why does it work? So, Buster cards, despite being naturally the highest damaging card type, have no inherent NP gain. It goes nothing with Buster, a little bit with Quick, and a lot with Arts. These Arts is all about getting your Noble Phantasm back. You can easily charge a Buster Servant turn 1 using potentially Castoria or Scotty. They have 50% batteries. But unlike Quick and Arts, no matter how much overkill you get, you are not getting any refund. Hello there, welcome to the stream. We're doing a bit of an educational video. We are talking about a farming system for Fate Grand Order. Going back to my stream of thought, you can clear waves with Buster. it's easy. Buster does huge damage, big numbers, but without that refund, it's not. You can't do it reliably 3 turns in a row. But what if I told you there was a way to 3-turn farm without having to worry about NP gain at all? Enter the Foxy Capitalist, or as she's properly known, Koyanskya of Light. Not to be confused with Koyanskya of Dark, who is coming out, I think, at New Year, and is a very different servant, and does not have a system associated with her. So, Koyanskya, the Foxy Capitalist, who bedeviled us for most of the Lost Belts, brings 3 things to the table that, when all combined together, kind of changed the game for farming and brought Buster back into the conversation. 1, much like Scotty and Castoria, each Koyanskya brings a 50% targetable battery. So they can, together, combine and charge your Buster Servant 100% first turn. Second, they also have a 30 to 50% 3-turn damage for Buster, much like Scotty has her quick buff and Castoria has her arts buff. Please upgrade those skills to the 50%, you're going to need it. But third, and this is the big thing, a targetable 2-turn skill cooldown reduction that's actually on the same skill as the battery. 4 turns if you double up with 2 Koyanskyas. This is the big thing. This is the thing that differentiates Koyanskya from all the other systems, and the thing that actually works with Buster. So here's an example of how it works. Turn 1, your Buster AoE servant, like say Arjuna or Ibuki Doji, use their battery. We're going to have to talk differently about Arjuna because his battery is only 30%. Use the, Ibuki Doji, she's got a 50% battery. She uses that, combined with a Buster CE with a 50% charge, they are ready to throw off their Noble Phantasm. You would then use both of the Koyanskyas that you have to damage, or to buff the damage of the AoE Servant. Just to make sure everything gets destroyed, but not caring about overkill. You fire the NP, wave 1 is gone. Turn 2. Your Buster AoE Servant is back to 0% charge because, as mentioned previously, Buster gives no refund. This is where you use the 50% charge on both of the Foxes, and that also reduces the cooldowns on your AoE Servant by 4. Fire the NP, wave 2 is gone. Now we come to turn 3, the AoE Servant's charge is back to 0%, but thanks to that 4-turn reduction in their cooldown on their Buster skill, they have their battery back. This is when you would use the plug suit to swap in a backline servant, fire off all their skills, including the 50% charge, and your servant is back up to 100% again. You fire the NP, wave 3 is gone. 3 turns, back-to-back NPs, no overkill or NP gain buffs required, it's just damage. This system, which relies on a cooldown manipulation rather than just refunds and buffs, solves an issue with Quicken Arts farming at higher level nodes, the irregular waves. With regular waves, like if you come into a farming node and the first wave only has 1 enemy, you're not going to get enough overkill to refund the NP, and that's going to break the kind of the loop. Overkill only matters, though, if you rely on the NP refund. For the Koyanskya system, all that matters is killing the wave, nothing else. As long as your damage can be exactly their health, or 1 point more, it doesn't matter. Now, some conditions do apply to this. The AoE Servant has to have sufficient damage on their Noble Phantasm to clear the waves. Obviously, Koyanskya's buffs help, but you need to start with good internals, so it varies, servant to servant. The 50% battery has to be on a max 6-turn cooldown. Otherwise, even with both Foxes and the battery, with both Foxes, the battery won't be off cooldown by turn 3. That also means you need to get the order of skills right, or the cooldown reduction is wasted. For more in-depth breakdown, a tier list for Koyanskya compatible servants, and the different ways you can make it all work, check out the article in the link below. Basically, if you just look up Google Game Press and Buster Looping tier list, you'll get all the information. They go quite in depth. Some final disclaimers before I even mention the ones on the screen. As mentioned, this is a guide kind of for dummies like me. I am not an expert on this. I haven't, pored over the numbers. A lot smarter people than me have broken this system down to its composite atoms. So go check them out if you really want to dig down. I'm just giving an overview and explaining the bare mechanics of how it works. Now the final disclaimers. If you can grab him, Oberon can really, really, really help the Koyanskya system. I think a lot of setups require him. He has perfect skills for that Wave 3 clear. You can plug him in. He's got a 70% targetable charge and a huge buster buff. Koyanskya system can work with servants who only have a 30% battery with some conditions. You need a non-max limit broken K-scope or kaleidoscope. And then you'll need Oberon with his 70% charge for Wave 3. A 50% charger like Scotty or Reigns or trying to think of other buffers. 50% chargers won't work if your charge only has 30%. Append skills can kind of fudge the difference here. I'm trying to think. The maxed append skill, I think, will give you a 20% charge. So, but that will only work for that first wave. You got to remember, every subsequent wave, you're starting back at 0. So, if you have a maxed out append skill, you'll have a 50% charge with your battery off the thing, so you can use not a K-scope. You could use like aerial drive or something that gives good buster damage or an NP damage and a 50% charge. Later this year we're getting a CE called Cranking, which is about, I believe, cranking the thing on an old cell movie camera that gives buster damage and a 50% charge, and it's free. I think it's the welfare CE for an event. So keep an eye out for that. It will be very helpful if you don't have aerial drive. But yeah, that is the Koyanskya system in a nutshell. This was never going to be a super long stream, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to open up a lot of different farming compositions in future. You won't have to stick just to Castoria systems or Scotty systems if you have them. Of course, it does require you to get Koyanskya and have one on your friends list, but that's not as hard. I would recommend getting Koyanskya if you can. She is a lot of fun. She opens up a lot of things. Yeah, that is pretty much it for the stream. I will be clipping this, or highlighting it, what have you, and uploading it to YouTube. I mean, we are getting a lot of free quartz with the anniversary. I'm never quite sure how much, because you see these calendars and things that people put out saying, oh, you get this much, but then I started worrying, like, oh, does that include stuff I've already earned? I don't know. But they've been pretty generous. It's lasted a while. We got, like, what is it, 30 free quartz recently just for a media campaign, which is pretty new. So, I am going to be streaming my pulls for Koyanskya. At the moment, we've got at least 11 pulls set aside for her. Maybe more if necessary. I really hope it's not necessary. It should be noted, at least for the Koyanskya system, you do not need any NP copies. Like, you don't need any NP levels of Koyanskya. Her skills are all you need. I'm not even sure, honestly, what her Noble Phantasm does, really. Oh, one thing I do want to mention, this is tangentially related, but I mentioned Oberon, and I mentioned he is an excellent use for the third wave. Specifically, why he's being used for the third wave is that part of his charge and the buster buff will put a debuff on your AoE servant, which puts them to sleep permanently. It's a non-removable debuff. So they fall asleep forever, and I think they also get a taunt on them. So that will screw up your setup if it goes into 4 turns, which ideally it shouldn't. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to mention about this system. No, that's about it, honestly. I'm really looking forward to the anniversary. We might be getting some cool news this weekend. They are going to be showing at the convention somewhere the Fate Strange Fake OVA. I'm really hoping they post it somewhere online, but I kind of doubt it. It's a special thing for the people there, I think, but hopefully we'll get to see it eventually. But yeah, we may very well get the anniversary before like this time next week, so I'll be streaming my Koyanskya pulls, and then not long after that I am going to be taking whatever I have left to try and get Oberon, because he would just make this system a lot more reliable and a lot easier. Yeah, but other than that, I don't know if I'm going to stream anything this weekend. It is a long weekend. I might. I just have to find something I'm excited to stream. But anyway, thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope your rolls... Oh, actually I should mention too, I will be also streaming my Lucky Bag poll for the anniversary. Hopefully I can do it combined with Koyanskya. I mean, they're both supposed to be happening at the same time, but I know the Lucky Bag rolls might be staggered by kind of time slots, and if the banner I want is later down, I may not wait. So, but anyway, I keep interrupting myself. Have a wonderful evening, everyone, and until next time, may all your hits be crits, and all your rolls be golden. Bye!